Good evening, Basil. How's it going, sir?
Good evening, Alex. Very well, very well. So today we've got a film called Saint Maud, which is on Prime, which I think we both viewed it on.
Correct.
Saint Maud, and Maud is the character's name, who is played by, is it Clark?
Morfydd?
Morfydd Clark. She's a Swedish... Swedish Welsh actress, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? And we haven't heard of her before, and she's very good. But anyway, she plays Maud in the film, and she's playing the role of like a private nurse for a lady who is called Amanda. And Amanda is played by Jennifer Ehle. Is that how we're pronouncing her last name? Yeah. And essentially it's a story of religion, I think we both agree on, because Maud, the nurse, has a very strong religious kind of persona and believes she's on almost like a mission to make this terminally ill woman, Amanda, the best she can be.
Save her soul.
It's the saviour, okay, and so it's and Amanda is almost the opposite to this. You know, she's obviously not very religious at all. She's lived a party lifestyle. And the film is...
She's an ex-dancer. And
she's an ex-dancer and is an alcoholic almost and got loads of friends.
Exactly.
Whereas
how
Maud,
far away she is from that mentality.
Yes.
Mentality.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And Maud is like, you know, wouldn't be seen dead drinking, very strict with her lifestyle. And it's all set in this kind of small town. I couldn't really work out where it is. I think it's somewhere in Ireland or Wales.
I had to look it up because it's in Scarborough.
Scarborough?
Believe it or not. Yeah.
What, in the UK?
Coney Island, which is the frame, the shot that she keeps passing by. That place is actually in. I had to look it up.
Yeah, is that just where it's shot, or is that where it's meant to be based?
That's the main location. No, that's the main location for the film.
Because they all seem to have an Irish tinge or a Welsh tinge to their accent, and definitely the main actress Maud, she obviously is Welsh. She's definitely Welsh in the film because of the way she pronounces words. But the other characters seem to me all almost Irish.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you were getting that.
She's well, you know how good I am with accents, but that's a different.
Anyway, different. But anyway, the location is a small town in the UK. I think it was fair to say that, and Amanda has relocated there to essentially see her end days. So what did you think anyway, Alex?
Yeah, so this is it sounds, we put it as if it's a comedy, but it's nowhere near a comedy. It's a very horror. I felt very frightening film.
Yeah.
And it's not a superficial type of film that has monsters and things in it. It is actually talking about two main things, I believe. It is the isolation and loneliness of this nurse. Her lifestyle seems to be complete loneliness, Maud, and how she relies on religion to guide her life through those moments. And speaking of loneliness, after a pandemic year is bang on. I think is more relevant.
I think we always try to find a thing about the film that we can relate to. And
this film was done in 2019, was out in 2019, and is probably more relevant now than it was in 2019. But it's a beautiful film, excellent acting, and it plays you. It's a slow burner, and it plays you. It keeps you guessing in the last moment.
And the debut film from a director, which is Rose Glass, which I'm really jealous of that name, and that's a female director. We haven't heard of it before, but yeah, one to look out for.
Correct. Yes. So it's absolutely one to look out for, but it keeps you. You know, in the beginning, it just looks very grim because of the location, and it's filmed it's always raining and it's dark and things like that.
Yes.
And there's a ray of hope in the character of Maud when she almost has a revelation when she receives what she believes is a sign from God that her mission is to save the soul of this lady.
There's quite a few scenes where Maud is being so-called like affected, and you can see it's like muscle spasms almost, and it's usually in a good context as well. And like quite early on, you see that Maud is quite obviously like a lonely person, a bit of an outcast.
She talks with God. The whole film is almost
narrating to God.
Prayer. Yeah. It's actually because she starts a prayer in the beginning and she continues to pray throughout the whole film with snippets of narrative in the film. But what did you thought of something that I don't know if you've picked it up, the visuals in the house of the lady where they're gone?
Amanda's home?
Yes. It reminded me a bit of Hitchcock, to be honest, the way he was, the later ones. or no, the Shining by what's his name?
It was Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick, yes, yeah. It was very colorful, and also, she gets it was a nice little snippet, but she receives from the Amanda, from the lady that is sick, she receives a book by William Blake and has paintings in there. And as soon as she sees those paintings, which are pretty scary because they're obviously, I don't know if you know about William Blake, there's obviously religious.
Yeah, it's like devil childs, isn't it? In descripted, yeah.
And as soon as that happens, the film inside the house, the colors change. The carpet becomes a bit more red.
Yeah, did not notice this. No,
the carpet is
a bit more gothic and candlelit and dull corners,
and it looks like the paintings that she is. They're a bit more, her face is a bit more darker and has it's unbelievable. It's the attention to detail was really.
I think
Besides
it's one of those films where like they've got the atmosphere and the weather right as well, because as you say, it's a very dark and rainy film. There's a few scenic shots where she's like walking through arcades and stuff in this like really dreary weather, and it's kind of like Arrival, that film. They kind of like, that was a very dark, like greyish film, wasn't it? So they got the atmosphere right in the weathery almost as well. So essentially, like it's a bit of a strange kind of type of film, really, because Maud has obviously had this backstory which never really quite gets explained. It gets explained because she meets a previous friend of hers, a previous acquaintance of hers that was in the nursing industry as well, and she kind of allures to something tragic happening to Maud with a previous patient, which it, by anyone's means, she should have left the nursing industry. So obviously, like, she's let someone die, or she had an impact on one of her patients dying, and you see these backshot scenes of obviously what that could have been. It might have been doing like CPR on an old person or something like that. So that's quite haunting. And then this new patient of hers, Amanda, they end up falling out because they don't really see eye to eye because of a religious thing. There's a particular scene where Amanda's and what she's become. There's a particular scene where Amanda, has to oust her out of the house because Maud's tried to break off one of her friendships of Amanda, and that's kind of where Maud's life starts going downhill, because she has no purpose anymore, and she's wondering why God has abandoned her in her mission, so to say. But what would you say to the kind of second part of the film with the?
Oh my goodness!
And that's when it really kicks off. The last 40 minutes, it really kicks off, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the film keeps you guessing. It always presents you with. It keeps you guessing, and if she's actually a saint that can save people's souls, or she's just crazy.
Did you think there's an element of being bewitched, or like the devil was inside of her at some point? Because it's pretty gruesome what's going on, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's how in popular literature is a saint is possessed by God or by the devil, if it's not the saint, or if it's possessed by the devil. That's how. So she does behave that way. But there's always, there's shots when you see her walking down the beach dressed as a saint with a big robe, and you're thinking, and the frame is all the way back, and you're looking, and she definitely looks like a crazy person.
Oh yes.
And then there's another scene where she has the contradiction of that when CGI goes and she has wings like an angel.
Yeah.
So it keeps you consistently guessing the opposites of reality against the fantasy.
I think the way you phrase it is
until really the final moment.
The final 5 seconds can be discussed between two people, and they'll have different opinions. I think the way to phrase it is it's deliberately ambiguous. It's not meant to show you what the narrative is not meant to be like linear. It's meant to be open for discussion. And personally, I'll watch that as not really the biggest religious person or even spiritual that much, and I'll watch that and I'll think we're watching the tale of a almost insane person, definitely, as you say, very alone, isolated person that doesn't know how to socialise very well, who might got caught up in the religious humdrum. That's what I think we're watching. But you could ask many other people who go, well, actually, it could be a film about a genuine saint, and look, she's been sent on this mission to help this woman. But I think
it's very interesting, very open to discussion, because it never answers that question either. So which is I think is the perfect ending when you leave it open
Thought-provoking.
interpretation.
I think anyone who watches this film and doesn't have at least 2 or 3 questions to ask the person opposite them what they thought, it's like, that's what this film kind of is about, really. You know, you can't just watch this film and go, oh, that was a good spectacle. You have to have a few questions, like, well, what did that make you feel, you know? At least, at bare minimum, yeah.
So it's called Saint Mod. It's on Prime Video, and yeah, good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
This week.
Yeah.
And I'll see you next week, sir.
Take care, Alex. Bye.